Today, we're going to be talking all about the Joe Tippens Protocol, what it is, how he was able to cure his cancer using this protocol, and most importantly, who the hell even is Joe Tippens? Like, what's all the buzz about? Now, I just have to say, I am no medical doctor by any stretch of the imagination, so anything I say in today's video, just take it as a grain of salt. I'm a plus size fashion content creator, okay? So I'm definitely not a pillar of health and wellness myself, but every so often I do enjoy posting health related topics and content that I myself find like consumingly fascinating and possibly beneficial to those who are interested in like an alternative deep dive. I'm probably a little bit weird, but I thoroughly enjoy researching these topics for months and months on end. And I encourage you to do the same, like research. You might be surprised. So first off, what's the story of Joe Tippens? And everything that I've read online and podcasts and interviews that I've listened to, he was an investment advisor from Oklahoma who in 2016 was diagnosed with small cell lung cancer. I think it's called like SCLC or something like that. He was in his 50s, I believe, at that time. And the type of cancer that he was diagnosed with was extremely aggressive. So he sought treatment through MD Anderson. He also signed up for clinical trials, and despite their best efforts, the cancer continued to grow. And subsequently, it metastasized all over his body. So his lungs, his bladder, his bones, his neck, his pancreas. I could not imagine the agony. Because of this, he was given a terminal prognosis. The doctors didn't feel like there was anything left that they can do. And so he was sent home, unfortunately, with just 3 months to live. Now, in January of 2017, one of Joe's friends told him about a colleague that he had that was doing some sort of cancer research on mice. And originally when I heard this story from like Barbara O'Neill or something like that, she's like a holistic practitioner on YouTube that I follow sometimes. She had said it was about dogs, but everything that I've read online and the research that I've done, it was on mice. And he basically said that Fenbendazole, which is a very common animal dewormer, was inhibiting the cancer in the mice that he was treating. So the vet friend told Joe, he was like, look, what do you have to lose here? Okay, because at this point he was almost actively dying. So Joe, heeding his friend's warning and advice, decided to jump in immediately and start self-administering Fenbendazole right then and there. And he had a follow-up appointment, a PET scan appointment in May of 2017, and there was no signs of active cancer at all in his body, and sometime thereafter was considered completely cancer-free.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippens says he went from 220 pounds to 110, but that was January of 2017. Today, Tippens is very much alive, and what he credits for his survival has doctors scratching their heads and the rest of us raising eyebrows.
So what exactly was Joe Tippens' protocol? What was his dose? What even is a protocol? Like, I hear that word being thrown around so much these days. The word protocol, in a nutshell, basically means like a plan or a set of rules, especially in the medical industry. So if your doctor gives you medication, for example, and he tells you hypothetically to take it twice a day for 10 days with a meal, that in and of itself is a protocol. It's a set of rules that he or she is giving you to create the intended medical result, whatever it is. Joe's protocol for his cancer treatment was 222 milligrams of Fenbendazole for 3 consecutive days a week, and then off for 4 consecutive days a week. So 3 on, 4 off until he was deemed completely cancer-free. And then he started on a maintenance dose, that's what he calls it, for like 1 to 2 times a week. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he does that still to this day. On top of the Fenbendazole, he also took 600 milligrams of curcumin, which, if I am correct about this, it's like a derivative of turmeric. It's supposed to have a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, and it works in synergy with the Fenbendazole. So it helps the Fenbendazole work better, and in turn helps the curcumin work better. So they're like peas and carrots, like peas and carrots. He also took 400 to 800 IUs of vitamin E, and supposedly it also helps to aid in those anti-inflammatory properties. And then optionally, he took like between 25 and 50 milligrams of THC-free CBD oil, and that was basically to like chill his brain and help the man sleep, because he had a lot going on. He probably had anxiety through the roof. I would probably need more than THC free, okay? By the way, I'm gonna have every single thing that I'm talking about today mentioned in the description box below, so you don't have to memorize the thing, okay? You don't have to write it down. You can copy paste it willy-nilly to your heart's content. Send it to a friend, do what you gotta do. And I'm also gonna have really helpful links to research papers, newspaper articles, links to products that I found, like anything that you wanna know, I'm gonna have it there. So definitely check it out. Now, I'm gonna be the first to admit that when I first heard of an animal dewormer being used as a cancer treatment, forgive me, I just thought it was extremely far-fetched. And usually under normal circumstances, I'm pretty open-minded, especially when it comes to the medical industry, because, you know, the medical industry can be a little shady sometimes. But here lately, like, the world is crazy. There's so much information out there. There's AI. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what to hear. You don't know. So when I tell you that I went ham on this subject, like I was splitting hairs, I was separating the wheat from the chaff, I was going in hardcore. And there's actually printed studies from like authenticated medical journals, like scientific reports from 2017, with very high success rates. And even as I was like putting the talking points of this video together, Epoch Times released an article talking all about this subject. And I found it really fascinating, and it kind of boosted my confidence to make this video. One study that I found absolutely fascinating involved 3 different patients, and they all had advanced stages of cancer. One had breast cancer, one had melanoma, and the other one had prostate cancer. All 3 self-administered Fenbendazole, and all 3 recovered 100%. There was one, I think it was the melanoma patient, that had a reoccurrence that was pretty aggressive, but then he once again self-administered again and recovered 100%. So they all survived. And this is both men and women with vastly different cancers and vastly different backgrounds and vastly different ages. I think one was 83, one was 85, the other one was in his 60s. 63, I wanna say. I'm housing a lot of numbers in my brain right now, so I can't recall. So according to 3 different studies, the dewormer works in 3 specific ways, okay? So it disrupts the cancer cell skeleton that helps it to divide and grow. So it keeps it from having a formation, it keeps it from spreading, and it also slows down the energy supply by blocking its ability to take on sugar. So we always hear about being sugar-free or eating no sugar when we're going through a cancer journey, right? And then finally, it triggers cancer cell suicide. So in my opinion, it's good riddance, you bastards. And then you're combining all the supplements that I mentioned earlier. So you're creating this powerhouse in your system that's weakening the cancer, it's reducing the inflammation caused by the cancer, and then thus eradicating it. So what exactly are you supposed to buy? Like which product, which brand, which formula? There are a ton out there. Joe Tippens, as I mentioned earlier, took 222 milligrams consecutively for 3 days, and he took Panicure C for canines in the 4-gram packet. According to him, the reason why he took it that way is because each packet, like one packet, equals 222 milligrams. So it basically takes the guesswork out of the dosage. And if I did my math correctly, and please forgive me if I didn't, I'm not very good at math anymore, but it's roughly about $20 every single week. And just a forewarning though, if you buy on Amazon or on Walmart, there's a lot of counterfeit products out there. So I personally choose to buy from Chewy. I trust Chewy, not to mention that their shipment is just lightning fast. But what if I told you that I found something cheaper that's made of the same high quality ingredients and it's made by the same manufacturer? So we're talking about $18 a week or $20 a week or $1.80 a week. and it's this. So this is the Safeguard for Goats, and there is 125 milliliters in here, so that's roughly like $35. And while I do know that that's kind of high right there at the jump, it's gonna last you 4.5 months, and you only take a half a teaspoon. Like a half a teaspoon equals like a little bit over 222 milligrams. You have to keep in mind that there is gonna be some inconsistencies. I think the canine powder packet has like 0 filler, and this one is gonna have some filler because it's a different product. It's a liquid product, but when it comes to affordability, there's $80 a month, and then there's $7 a month. So you know, you're getting the same product, but one has filler, the other has none. If you're involved in a lot of the Facebook groups out there, a lot of the health groups like on Reddit and forums and different things, you're gonna see a lot of information out there. They have people kind of mixing and matching different homeopathic remedies. And I say this with the utmost respect. Please do your research when it comes to any and all of those things. But just one example is going to be Essiac tea. Essiac tea, y'all, has a cult following, and I completely understand why. There is a lot of really good information out there, and it's basically just kind of a blend of herbs. It's like burdock root, sheep sorrel, slippery elm, and some other things. I can't remember what it is, but it's super healthy, super beneficial if taken in moderation, obviously. Then there's soursop tea, which is leaves taken from the graveolus tree. And then there comes the apricot kernels. And in my opinion, people have taken apricot kernels to a whole other level. It's getting dangerous. People are like trying to take 20, 30, 40 a day. And when I tell you, they contain cyanide. You can actually get cyanide poisoning. I think the most you're supposed to take is like 3 or 4 per day. And then last, but certainly not least, I cannot not mention ivermectin. It's taken the world by storm. It's the cure-all for everything. Honestly, I have no skin in the game when it comes to that. But one thing I do know is you should never take ivermectin and fenbendazole together. In fact, if you take ivermectin on a regular basis, you need to have your blood work done because it can raise your liver enzymes. So just an FYI, a little food for thought. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this Joe Tippens Protocol deep dive talk point video. I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet, but I really appreciate y'all watching. If you found this video helpful, enjoyable, and a little bit informative, please give it a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, thank y'all so much for watching. I always appreciate each and every one of you. Please stay safe and stay healthy in this wild, crazy, weird world that we're living in. I'm telling you, and I'm going to be seeing y'all very, very soon. Bye. Hello.
Motorboater.